Hi everyone, so today I'm doing a tutorial on a flag card. Now I haven't come across flag cards before this week, so I've seen accordion cards which are similar, but I liked this design once I'd started playing with it. So we have a normal looking card. When we open it, it's got a beautiful set of graphics and a greeting in it. So it looks complicated, but it isn't. If we stand it up, you can see this piece comes forward. Okay, I'll show you some more examples. So this one I did with a double-sided card, so it did cut down the amount of work I had to do, but that's beautiful. This one, perhaps one for the men, with all the wine and things. Okay. And this one I printed graphics to the right size and did a lovely floral one. Okay, so we're going to have a look at how we do it, and this time I'm trying to do a slightly different tutorial in that I've done both measurements, one on metric on one side, centimetres on the other. Sorry, imperial and metric. Okay, so I'm going to follow these, but if you want to do it in inches, then you can follow this direction. And I'm even going to try and put the measurements directly onto the video, but we'll see whether I can manage that. So you have a base card A4, which is this one, and we're simply folding that in half. Get my score tool and just burnish it down. So that's finished. The inner piece we want is 1 centimetre shorter, but the same A4 length. So that we've got there. And we're going to score this rather differently. So I'm going to put my base card out the way for the moment. We don't need it for the moment. And I'm going to take my scoreboard. And if I look on this side, I want to do 7.5, 10, 12.5, 15, 17.5, 20 and 25. Alright, so we're going to place that on there. I'll put my texture behind and I'm going to go 7.5, 10, 12.5, 15, 17.5, 20 and 22.5. Now because your card is not 30 centimetres, there's going to be a slight adjustment. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold this bit up, and before I burnish it, I'm making sure this is lined up. Right. Fold the next one over, line up with the side and burnish. Because you're lining up the side all the time, you're going to be sure that all your scores are at right angles. Right, I've done halfway. I can carry on for another one, and I'm going to flick it over, come back to the beginning. This just helps me line up the top edge a bit better. There we go, and we've got them all lined up now. So I can now reverse some of these. So my first one is a valley, then a mountain, valley, mountain, valley. So so that we've got both of the end pieces coming forward. Now you can see it's still quite springy, so I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm putting it between the lines, okay, and I've done all the back lines. I'm coming onto the front on the inside and just making sure now all of these are neatly burnished. So that's the inside folding done. Now let's have a look at our instructions, because we have now optional inner panels. Now when I did this one, because it was coloured already, it was a double-sided, I've got a colour coming around here, right? If I look at the first one I did, I've added, if I can show you there, I've added a piece on this side and a piece on this side. Keep away from the centre fold. So I have already cut myself 2 panels, 14.5 by 21. 21 is the same depth as the card. So I'm going to take my main card, open it out, and you can use wet glue or double-sided, anything that you're happy with. And these are going to come up, they're going to line right to this edge, and with the top and the bottom absolutely, and you'll see it just gives you a fraction of an inch away from this edge, from this fold. So now I'm going to put this side in. Doesn't matter whether you put the glue on the card or on the piece you're fitting on. That. And make sure that it's flush with 3 sides. If you've used wet glue, you have that little wiggle room. There, now you can see that that folds without any interference from those pieces. Okay. We're now going to look at this piece, and we're going to fit it inside. If you remember, we cut it 1 centimetre short. Right, so I'm going to allow myself 1/2 centimetre at the top, 1/2 at the bottom, and 1/2 on this edge. Now for this one, I'm going to use double-sided tape. So I'm going to double-sided into there, and I'm going to prepare the other side. Now we've got one little adjustment to do. Right, okay, I've got those on there. I'm going to close up, and what I want you to see is that when we close that, I have this tiny little edge here. You can leave it on, it's because we're working slightly less than 30 centimetres. But I'm going to trim off that excess. That is all that comes off, so it's very little. Okay, so I'm going to take these off. And don't forget, I want 1/2 centimetre all the way round. If you're working in inches, it's about 1/4 inch. Right, now I can take this side off. Move my bin. Right, then I'm going to stretch this over put it in place and then press it down. Now I can just test it, that it folds flat, opens, and we have this zigzag that is sticking out. Back to our instructions. We've done the inner panels and we're going to do the front now, which is 14 by 20 the front piece, 14.5 by 20.5 the mat. So I've already prepared mine and cut them earlier. So I'm now going to stick that on the front. You'll see that I use a different glues for different things that I want to do. So if I want a bit of wiggle room, like doing up the mats and layers, then my wet glue is fine. But if I want something to stay exactly where I put it, then I will come up with my double-sided, but whatever suits you. Putting 3 strips down, and I'm just going to take the centre one off, but fold these down. There's no direction to my front. There we go. So fit it down and then pull the sides out. That way you haven't committed too much glue to the piece before you're ready. So there is the front done. Haven't decided what we're decorating with yet. We'll come to that in a minute. So I'm going to open my card out now. We've done the front, so the next we want 2 side panels 6 by 19. Now these, there are no mats to it, because if I show you here, the white base card here is actually forming another mat for you. So you've got 1, 2, 3 layers. Okay, so I'm going to take that. Now I want a little bit of wiggle room. So I've got white all the way round that one. It really does go together quite quickly. There we go. So there are my 2 side panels, and just help that up for a bit. Okay. Now we want to do our flags. Now the flags, there's 5 of them, and centimetres, there's 5.5 centimetre square. If we have a look at this one, they're 2 inch square. So we're going to go for now 5 panels, and I've already cut my 5 mats. Now once again I need a bit of wiggle room, so I'm doing wet glue, and then I can just slide them to where I want them. Put them aside. I like to put them in order, so it doesn't matter how they go on the card, but it gives me a chance to know which one's dried first. So that's number 2. Number 3. number 4. And I've got one extra here. So I'm now going to start back at the beginning, and we're going towards the back of our card on this last flap. So I'm going to take this. At the moment there's no up and down direction, so I can put my glue wherever I want. Now the first 2, I fold down my flap there, and I want to put my first one tight up against this crease here, but a short way up. Now that's probably about 1.5 centimetres or about 3/4 of an inch. So press that down, and I'm going to mimic that measurement at the top. No need to actually measure it. There we go. Right. Now I'm going to take this one. Now we're going to aim to put this one in the middle of the 2 I've just done. So I fold down my second panel there, and I need to slide that in so it's between these 2. Now I'm going to take my last 2, prepare these. The glue I'm using goes off very quickly, so any wiggle room is now gone. Right, I'm going to fold this one up now so I can see my fingers in. I can put this one so it's tight in to there, but mimicking this. Place that one in there, and I'm lining it up with this last one. Close it and give them a good press. Right, so there are our 5 flags in our card. At the moment it's blank, and open it up, and there are our 5 flags. It doesn't matter whether you want to write on all the flags or whether you want to put pictures on. So I'm going to go now and select the pictures that are going to go onto it. Okay, so I've chosen some of this die cut decoupage, which has got lots of small pieces on it. So I'm going to take this one first, and this is quite a big piece compared to the others. So I'm going to put that onto the front of my card. So I'm going to take my wet glue, and I'm going to place that on the front of my card. Now this one is going to be a thank you card. Okay, and I have a little verse. So my little verse I print onto matte self-adhesive acetate, and with it being matte it's not going to look shiny and stand out, it's going to disappear into the background. Now you may not hear it often, we wanted just to say we really do appreciate you and offer you our thanks today. So there's a nice one. Right, that's probably enough. I may add corners to it, but let's go to the inside. Now there's lots of choice on here. Now I think I'm going to put like the ship's wheel, I think, next. So just pop it out. Always turn it over and look at the back part of the decoupage, because it's easy to see any bits that have got to come out. When you're looking at the main picture, it sometimes doesn't show up. And then when you've done your card, you think, oh, I'd wished I'd taken that out. So let's find all the little bits, and I think I've got two little bits here. Right, always pull towards the back, and then you're not in danger of pulling the picture on the front of the card. So there's my beautiful bell. Now I'm going to test that against there. It will fit on, but I want to avoid the top of the bell. So bell always needs to hang at right angles to the card. Doesn't matter what the wheel and the anchor is doing. Right, I'm now going to put this, I think, boat and the life jacket, the life buoy. So poke that out, check the back. I'm going to take that, put that one on that one. So I'd now like the beach hut. I'm going to test that onto there. It doesn't matter if anything overhangs this side, as long as you don't overhang that crease. No bits on the back of this one. So I'm going to place that and just make sure it's free of this crease. Right, so I've got a beach hut, a lighthouse, going to have a porthole, this one and the seagull. Now there's some pieces to come out of this, so I turn it over, pull them towards the back, this one, the seagull needs to stay upright. I'm just keeping away from that edge in case it hangs over. So seagull has to go upright. There we go. And I'm going to save the middle, and I have another little message that simply says, "Thank you so much." Fold it down. I won't close it completely because we've still got glue drying. But there we have 5 flags. Close it gently, and we've got a porthole on the front, little message, and I can carry on decorating that at a later time. So I think I might just add corners. So let's put that to one side, because I want to show you that you can take it further. I haven't decorated this one, but this was 2 6-inch cards. Okay, I've used 6-inch cards and I've scored them exactly the same as this. And when I open it, this has, that way. This has little stairs. There we go. Right, the only difference to this is that I've supported the stairs with 2 strips here. They're not fixed at the bottom. All they're doing is giving that a little support. Right, so that is showing you the basics. I've put little panels right through on each step and riser. This one I have started, and I'm going to build up the garden. So I've got a little wall, a fence, so I shall build up some pretty flowers at the bottom and perhaps a dog or something sitting in the garden at the top. So that one's under construction, but the one I finished I really love, and I had some decoupage of some mice, and I found this graphic that I wanted and I've added to it. I saw a mouse there on the stair, and when we open it, there are the little mice sitting on the stairs. Okay, so I thought that was a real fun card, and once again I've cut 2 strips. So this was a 7.5 centimetre strip, and this was a 5 centimetre strip. Okay, so it just means that when you open it, they flop down and give you some substance to your card, so it's going to stand nicely. Okay, so another variation for you, but all exactly the same scorings. Okay, so have fun. Let's just quickly bring these back. There was the original, so that's a pretty one. This one using double-sided card, so it shows through the colour on the inside. This one with the graphics I printed from my stash. And then this one, which was decoupage for somebody that likes wine. Okay. So, happy crafting, and God bless you all.